Hey everybody, Jane here, and I just finished reading The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren, and we need to talk about it.
Pictures and patterns put into words that stream across the page, capturing life as soul spoken.
All right, so let's start by I had gotten this from the library, but decided not to read it and to read it through audio. Um, I I'm not sure that was the right choice at the end of everything. I think it helped me get through the book very quickly, which is kind of what I was trying to do because the library would like this book back. However, I really liked the person that they got for the male lead, but I did not necessarily care for the girl that is the the female lead. The character's name is Fizzy and Connor. That's our couple. All right, so this book opens with Connor has been assigned this task of he is a documentary type filmmaker, and his company has decided they are not making a lot of money off of documentary type stuff, and they need him to do a reality show, something that is going to rake in the big bucks. He decides, well, I think they assign him a dating show. And he decides that his ex-wife is really into this one author, and that is the person that he's going to bring in to be the bachelorette type person for his show. So that is Fizzy. I don't remember what her real name is. Felicia Chen, I think. But she just goes by Fizzy. And she is a romance writer who is in a bit of a slump. She realized a year before that she hasn't ever really been in love. She's been in lots of lusties, but not really in love. And she's not even sure she really believes in love anymore, which isn't a great thing for a romance writer. So she has been really struggling with her writing career. Additionally, she is besties with the wife of this scientist who has created a program to romantically match people based on their DNA. So you do a DNA swab and you put it on this website, and think of like ancestry.com plus Tinder-ish. Like it's not looking for who you're related to, but like you put it into the database and it matches you with romance people. So the producer and her get together and talk, and they decide that she's going to be the bachelorette, and then it's going to be around this technology of the bachelors are they're going to do a DNA test, see what the compatibility is, and then each week somebody is going to get booted from the show, and at the end they're going to get booted by the viewers, and they're going to see if the viewers chose the person that she's most compatible with, per the True Love Experiment, like the app or whatever. So I ended up giving this a 4 out of 5 stars, but I have so many feelings about this that I wanted to talk to you about. Okay, so the first thing, I loved Connor. So Connor is, as I said, divorced, but him and his ex-wife have this lovely co-parenting relationship, this lovely friendship, and it is basically like what I think everybody should be striving for who is unfortunately divorced. Divorce sucks. I'm divorced. I'm co-parenting, and just this is an excellent view of co-parenting, which I don't think we always get to see in books. And he's a great dad, which for me is a huge turn on. Like, I love men who are prioritizing their children and their family. And like a big part of the reason he even takes on this project is so that he can stay living where his daughter lives, and so that he can continue to be super in her life and have all the visitation. And I love that about Connor. He's very family oriented. He's also British, which is very hot. And the guy that they have doing his voice, oh, he is Studley. So I really like Connor. Fizzy Fizzy also has a very complex social circle, which is lovely, but I didn't connect with her social circle quite as much. So we have her best friend who is married to the scientist, and they have a little girl, and Fizzy kind of plays the auntie to her. She also has a brother who is about to get married and a sister who is pregnant. And then her parents who have who she has a very close relationship with, even though it's a little complex sometimes. So she's also surrounded by her people, and I loved all the secondary characters in these books. I think in this book, they really helped bring out both Fizzy and Connor as characters. So I really enjoyed that. But I was less invested in Fizzy's circle and more invested in Connor's circle. Although I did like, I liked Fizzy circle, but just the friend, the wife of the guy who makes the true love experiment, I liked her, and I like their kid. They have an adorable kid, who we find out is Connor's daughter's friend, which is just fun. There's a lot more web to get like sewn together than there probably would be in real life. There's a lot of coincidences, but it's a romance, and I'm on for that. I love that. So, um, Fizzy though, I didn't find that she had a lot of personality other than horny. Like, I hate to say that. She's very like she's very lusty, and she's very like humorous and jokes about everything. And while I'm not mad about that, I really didn't like that element of her as much as I'd hoped to. I did think some of the things she did and said was really fun and amusing, but the fun and amusement I got out of this book tended to be more related to things about the genre. So in the beginning of the book, for instance, she says, "Yeah, I'll do this thing that you want me to do of being the bachelorette type character, but you have to find me these romantic hero stereotypes. Um, the tropes of these romantic heroes. And I don't care how you interpret them, but this is what you're doing." And so he's looking at the list and he's like, "What is a cinnamon bun? What is a DILF?" And then she ends up calling him a DILF. He's the DILF through this book. Um, and he is a DILF, just saying. But so I didn't really end up liking her very much, and I thought I'd really connect with her because I'm a romance writer. So I thought, oh, I'm gonna love her. But I appreciated that she cared about her readers, but I didn't necessarily feel as she was developed enough for me to connect to, and I actually found her kind of annoying throughout a lot of the book. The bachelor guys, by the time we get to the show, we know that she's going to end up with Connor because this is a romance and it's a dual POV with Connor. And so like I didn't get too invested in the bachelors of the show. I think I would have loved a version of this where she wasn't with the producer of the show and she fell in love with one of the bachelors, and we could have seen her dating the different stereotypes and things like that. We don't really get nearly as much of the dating action as I would have liked, like the bachelorette type show stuff. It's very much back, like it doesn't play center stage. And again, she's dating the producer. They're falling in love, so it doesn't have to. But I love like dating show type books, and so I would have liked to seen a little bit more of that and been more invested in the guys. Um, so I did think that that's a little criticism I have of, there was a lot less bachelorette in this book that is about a bachelorette, reality TV program. So another thing that I really got frustrated with this book is the third act breakup. Like, we know there's a third act breakup. There's always third act breakups. Not always, but a lot of the time. This one just didn't work for me, and I don't know why, but I really hated it. So basically, we find out that Connor, his marriage ended because he cheated on his wife. They hadn't been doing well together. I think he was just looking for a way out, and he had a one night stand and cheated, and that's how they end up divorced, which is horrible. And he's like, dude, I know it was wrong. a long time ago. I've grown as a person since then. Clearly, I realize I messed up and would never do it again, but I was having a moment and I was a young man who was hurting. And Fizzy had previously been in a relationship where a guy had used her to cheat on his wife and she hadn't known. And so she's really affected by this, and her and Connor have like a big fight, and she does the whole, well, I can't trust you, or she feels like, how can she trust him, and ugh, I didn't this book is so fun and humorous, and their chemistry is so good and everything's going so good that it just almost seemed like too serious of of a thing for a third act breakup. And I get that the third act breakup should be important, but it just felt really heavy and really like I didn't judge Connor about it, which I don't know if we're supposed to as the reader, but if a guy I was dating really did say, "Hey, I cheated on my wife because I wanted to end the marriage," I might have some qualms about that. I don't know. But it almost was too much for them to get over for me, personally, personal level. And just the way the whole third act breakup went, I really didn't enjoy that. That was my least favorite part of this book. I did think the resolution was great and everything that happened at the end was lovely, but I really hated this third act breakup thing, which is so unfortunate because overall, I think other than not loving Fizzy, I enjoyed her relationship with Connor, and it was a very steamy book. I shouldn't say that. There were a couple really intensely steamy scenes that I liked. It is not steamy throughout. It's so hard for me to like define how many chilies something is because it depends on what you read. So I would put this at like middle of the road. There are a few very lovely steamy scenes, but nothing that's crazy. So I don't think if you are like huge into steamy that you're going to want to be like, "Ooh, I gotta get that book for the steamy," because it's not that kind of book. It's not the kind of book that's like steamy, 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 but it has some really nice little scenes. So I really enjoyed the character chemistry. I enjoyed the stuff going on with them. I enjoyed so much of this, but just like not liking Fizzy very much, and then the third act breakup definitely took this down for me. It could have been a 5 star if I liked Fizzy a little bit more, and if there was a different third act breakup maybe, because I loved a lot of other elements of this book. Christina Lauren is an author I've read before, and she's again kind of all over the place for me. I've read a couple different books from her, more than a couple. I loved Autobiography. I gave that a 5 star. I didn't like the Unhoneymooners. I really didn't like that. I don't remember what rating I gave it, but that book made me mad. I wanted to throw it. And then I read something about a roommate, I think. And that one was okay. So I am still like, she's an author that I want to read more of the books she's written. I like her style. Well, their style. It's two people writing together under a pen name. But I do like this author, but this one like was kind of it could have been so much better for me. I liked it a lot, but I didn't love it. And I just had to tell you all about that. Have you read it? What were your thoughts if you did? Did you feel similarly? Did you like Fizzy better than I did? Did you think the third act breakup really worked? It is nice, I think, to have that like more serious third act breakup than the miscommunication trope, which nobody likes, I don't think. But it just felt too heavy. So, also, if you can recommend one of two things, I am really looking for, I really want to read either a romance writer on the Bachelorette type show, but not falling in love with the producer, but one of the bachelors. Please recommend that book to me down there. And also, if there is a paranormal romance that involves like a Bachelorette type show, recommend that to me too. Because I was reading this going, you know what, we really need some werewolves. I want this book, but with a different, like a different Izzy or Fizzy and with werewolves, and I think that could really work for me. So, if you have a recommendation for either romance writer on a bachelorette program or paranormal, werewolves is my preference, but whatever, on a dating show, leave those in the comments below. This has been Jane. I'll see you next time. Bye.